Hey, Peter, thank you for bringing me up to speed on what's going on there at Prado Dam. What's going on there at that location?
Right off the 71 and 91 freeways is the bicentennial mural that was painted by Corona High School students in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
And the Army Corps of Engineers has arbitrarily decided to strip it.
Well, listen, I want to really thank you for bringing it to my attention because, look, while some of us may not get it, when something happens in our specific neighborhood, we care about that kind of stuff.
There's no missing the Prado Dam Spillway mural. After 38 years, its 2,800 feet of red, white, and blue has become an inland empire icon. It just reinforces our freedoms.
The improvements in Chino Hills mean that a patriotic mural, which has been there for 40 years, may have to go. An Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia shows us the upgrades and has more on the fate of the beloved mural.
So what's going to replace the iconic mural? Well, that's really up to you. The public hearing on the mural will happen at Corona High School on April 9th.
Hello, folks. I'm John Wayne. You know, with America's bicentennial coming up, we'll be hearing a lot about our early history and making some discoveries.
Everything that makes you live nice. Coca-Cola, grab some Coke, everybody follow me.
Bicentennial minutes end tonight. As our first resolution of the new year, let us pledge to keep the spirit of 76 alive.
Coca-Cola, you gotta live when the sun is high. Have some Coke when you're feeling dry. Coke adds life, everybody wants a little life. Coke adds life, everything that makes you live nice. Coca-Cola, keep the sun shining down on your parade. Coca-Cola, feed your drum now, sing my song. Coca-Cola, who's it alone? Coke adds life, everybody wants a little life.
As we were discussing this in our leadership class, we thought about the tall ships. Of course, that was an enormous undertaking and probably the biggest undertaking for the bicentennial. And we'd heard of communities that painted their fire hydrants with like pictures of George Washington or Sam the Eagle or just something, a red, white, and blue theme. And we wanted to try to do something unique ourselves. And nobody had a spillway like we did. And that was maybe going to be the largest mural in the entire United States. And kids wanted to tackle a project, and I gave them the backing, and with the help of some parents, off we went. Terry kind of spearheaded this idea. Well, let's see if we can paint the dam with the bicentennial theme.
My first impression of the dam was June 17th, 1976 was the day that we graduated. And George Ramos, he and I spent all day that day painting the last number of the mural because we wanted to make sure that our seniors got to see that on the way home from Disneyland. And to be on that bus at whatever time we came home, 6, 8 o'clock in the morning, and to come up on the dam and see it all painted and all done and to hear everybody cheer and just scream was something I will never, ever, ever forget.
This is my dad, James Deegan. My dad was a salesman at heart. He was a salesman, and I think he used his persistence in getting into the Army Corps of Engineers, and he just happened to know who to call and knock on doors.
He was the one that said, Terry, you know what, I'll help you. He went and he got his own engineer to look at the dam itself and to measure how high the numbers and the letters would be.
I believe my dad had keys to the gate, so if we wanted to go up there just for a couple hours, we could go up there for a couple hours.
I don't think that anybody really thought that we would be able to pull it off.
The dam is 1,000 feet wide and 120 feet high, so we're talking about 120,000 square feet.
When we first approached it, I was scared to death. Because when you figure things out on a piece of paper, and then you actually go there, it was like King Kong, you know how big he is?
And it's on about almost a 40-degree angle. So it's very difficult to, traverse up the side of the dam itself. And we used 400 gallons of white paint, 125 gallons of red paint, and 100 gallons of blue paint. And a lot of times we would take 5-gallon buckets and just dump the paint from the top, and then quickly with our rollers go over, especially the white, the background.
Freddie, who was Jackie's boyfriend at the time, who was a huge skateboarder, just to watch him go from the top and slide all the way down was just...
We did this basically over the Memorial weekend in 1976, and then we went back the following weekend to do more touch-ups on it. So I would say the whole project, we worked maybe 5 or 6 days on this from morning till night. We got permission to camp out there, so we had a couple of motorhomes and tents.
My dad was so fun, and he back in the day, he was the adult in charge at that night, and we would wait until he went to bed, and we could hear him snoring, and then we would pull out all the firewood and have a great big old bonfire.
Okay, one of our students, Ron Kammeyer, and his friend Perry Schaefer, came up with an idea of 200 years of freedom, and then he wanted to put the Liberty Bell on it.
Why did we choose the Liberty Bell? Well, when Perry and I were sitting around, we thought, what used to bring the people together, and in times of crisis, or in community events, or to church, it was almost a given.
The parents, the moms would get involved and bring meals for the kids. There were about 30 students and several adults that camped out there and did the majority of the work.
I served in the military from 1968 to 1970. I lived in Norco, but graduated from Corona Senior High in 1967. The first time I saw it, it made me well up with pride for our great country. It will be a great shame and a disservice if they remove it or change it. I really hope it gets restored. Medford, Oregon.
I remember my dad telling me what it stood for, and I hope to tell my son one day the same story.
My dad was a World War II vet. We drove by it when he was dying of cancer. He told me how much it inspired him. Corona, California.
Now, one of the neat things is if Prado Dam, someone's talking about it and they find out that you're tied to it or you designed it, it kind of steps them back a little bit, and because they relate to it. It's like an Eagle Scout, you know, when you're part of that organization, it kind of carries with you. And Prado's kind of has a little bit of that character. It's like the lady on Channel 7 News said last night, it's our beloved mural. And people have a tie to it, a friendship to it, and it's a part of their lives.